You know, something that's sad but completely true is that you've probably never actually met somebody with a mind that's not been corrupt. I mean, think about all the bad stuff that we have in this world that people consume multiple times a day. Porn, drugs, social media, video games, all these dopamine hits, all these instant spikes of dopamine make you want more and more. And all these things are very addictive, and only more people are going to get addicted to said things. Like, you think even your parents are like on social media, they smoke, you know what I mean? So you can't even say, oh, but my parents, you know, they're not doing all this stuff, but in reality they kind of are. I mean, lots of parents are vaping now, you know, getting introduced to that. Lots of parents are scrolling on TikTok and social media. So, you know, it's not even just people our age, it's people any age are getting corrupted by the system. And truthfully, things aren't gonna get much better because it's not like a life or death situation. You know, you don't get much punishment in the short term, at least, for doing these degenerate habits, except from, I guess, feeling a bit bad about yourself after, but that's not enough because you still go back to doing that thing every single day anyways. I mean, think about World War II, for example, or any war, but let's talk about World War II specifically. Obviously, there wasn't social media back then, but do you think people were getting addicted to drugs and stuff all the way back in those times? No, of course not, because they had no choice. They had to stay sober, because if they didn't, it would affect, those drugs would affect their performance, meaning they're risking death, you know, consuming these chemicals. Now, I'm not saying I want some massive war to begin, so less people do drugs and play video games, but what I'm trying to say is we need something to scare us, or at least push us not to do said thing. For example, when I was a young kid, my dad always told me, like probably every single day, to like never smoke, never do drugs, never do this, never do that, or he would, in his words, throw me down the stairs. And I fully believe he would have if I was caught doing drugs. I mean, the fact that I even still remember this, well, my dad probably doesn't, means that his tactic has worked on me. I knew that if I did drugs, I would get heavily punished for it. Like when I was talking about the World War II thing, if you weren't, you know, in your A game, if you weren't sober back then, right, you were probably gonna die, right? And I guess I was probably gonna die if I tried drugs as well, because my dad probably would have killed me, right? Now, obviously, he probably wouldn't have literally thrown me down the stairs, but I am still so glad that he said that he was gonna throw me down the stairs, right? Some people are probably watching this video right now, like saying like, oh, that's abuse, you should report your dad for abuse, but like I'm gonna tell my kids the same thing. Like, I'm gonna tell my kids that I'm gonna throw them down the stairs if they do drugs, because, you know, the tactic worked on me, so I'm sure it will work on them as well. Like, you know, I'm so glad that he said that to me. Not only that, but he also, you know, talked me through it, talked me out of doing drugs, told me why drugs are bad, what drugs do to you. Because if he didn't, I'll be honest, I don't know where I'd be right now. If I had a dad that just simply did not care about me, I'd probably be smoking right now, because, I mean, why wouldn't I? There's no consequences. I'm not going to get punished, right? But instead, I had a dad that installed that healthy fear onto me, because even when I've been around people smoking weed, for example, like 1 or 2 years ago, right, when I wasn't a degenerate, but like I wasn't on self-improvement either, so I'm like 15, 16 here, so I shouldn't even like still have this fear anymore from like when I was like 10, when he used to say that stuff to me. Even though I ain't ever smoked it before, so I've never done drugs, never vape, never any of that, I'm still afraid that my dad's gonna smell the weed on me and, you know, think I was involved, even though I obviously wasn't. So that fear is a fear that I still have to this day. And, you know, you definitely need to be afraid of your parents to an extent, but like a healthy fear. Like, if you're afraid of your parents to the point where like you can't even like talk to them, you can't even like talk to them about like serious things because you worry they're gonna judge you, that's an unhealthy fear. There's a difference between an unhealthy fear and a healthy fear. You know, you need to be afraid of your parents, but not afraid to the point where it affects you negatively. But anyways, like, obviously nowadays it's less of a fear I have of doing drugs and more of a push, you know, for myself wanting to be the very best, because I know the day I ever try drugs, you know, ever vape, I would never forgive myself, because like with fapping, it's like I've already fapped before, so if I fap now, it'd be a big deal, but it wouldn't be that deep, right? But I've never ever vaped before, I've never smoked, I've never not been sober before, right? So, you know, I mean, I've tried like a couple sips of alcohol, but like literally done nothing to me. So if I ever vaped, I could not take that back. I can't reverse time. I'd be so ashamed in myself, which is why I'm saying you either need to be scared of that habit or you need to push yourself not to do that habit. It needs to be one of the two. You either need to be scared or pushed. That list of all the degenerate stuff I said earlier is only going to get more addictive, like new features and flashing lights on social media, new updates on your video games, you know, even with weed. I don't know anything about weed personally because I've never done it before, but like I would assume that people are discovering new ways to make, sorry for the birds, finding new ways to make weed more addictive and powerful when they sell it. So, you know, like it's crazy. Like all these companies and dealers really know how to destroy society for money, which is just crazy, bro. Like people really like have money as their most important thing. Like money is very, very, very important. Yes, it is, but it's nowhere near the most important. If money was the most important to me, I don't know, I don't even know what I'd do. I'd take advantage of like lustful men and I'd probably be like an OnlyFans manager or something like satanic like that, right? But instead I'm helping people. I'm trying to make money off doing good in this world, you know, money, pride. It goes money, health, pride. No, health is number one, then pride, then money, right? There's two things more important than money, health and pride. And I've spoken about this before, but anyways, as long as you do the right things, such as reading, meditating, working out, literally anything that's healthy for the mind, learning a new skill even, right? Just do it, please do it, because not only will these activities make you smarter and stronger, giving you a better life, but most importantly, you're not going to have a zombie brain like everyone else, like people that literally cannot go without their phone, without scrolling, checking their notification. Has he texted me back? Has she texted me back? I need to know, like for like 2 seconds, right? But you can, sorry for the noise outside, you can just sit there in your bed in silence and just respect the silence, be grateful for the silence. And once you can get to that point where you can just appreciate nothing, that's when you've won. All these people you see online say that your competition is getting harder and harder, and I do agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, more and more people are getting involved with degeneracy, getting addicted to bad habits, and not trying to better their lives. So realistically, your competition isn't getting as hard as you think it is. So you don't need to panic too much, right? And me being a self-improvement YouTuber, it would probably get me more views realistically if I was like, oh, it's impossible for you to win, you're against everyone in this world. But realistically, you're not. You're against the people that are on self-improvement, which is like 1% of people, right? Like 90% of the population are degenerates. 9% of people are like going to school, think the educational system's all right, think that if they become a doctor or a lawyer, they'll be successful, right? When in reality, they'll just have no time freedom and they'll have to devote all their life to work. And the 1% of people are actually on self-improvement, trying to better their lives. So realistically, you're only against one group of people, 1% of people. Let's be honest with ourselves and not try to be grabbing all these views, doing what's better for the algorithm and portraying self-improvement as this really complicated thing, because realistically, it's not. It's quite simple. All you have to do is work hard and do what you know deep down in your heart is right. And bon appetit. Success is served to you on a nice warm plate. If you want to know more about how this world is so corrupt and, you know, trying to drag you down and make you a failure like everyone else, but how you can also use this to your advantage to win, check out my check out my Matrix playlist on my channel now. I'm so used to saying mindset playlist, but instead I'm promoting my Matrix playlist. So check that out now to learn more. Thank you for watching as always. Take care and peace. Bye-bye.